Hello students, today's class will discuss what is static. Since very beginning we have been watching this static, where we have been watching this in public static void main, that is static is used, and in few examples also we have seen the use of a static. Now what exactly static is, what it means, let us have a look. So first of all, we'll read it theoretically. We'll try to understand, although these things are not understood theoretically. These are mostly understood practically, but a light idea about what static means is written here. There will be times when you will want to define a class member, I mean the member functions or data members that will be used independently of any object of that class. What does this mean? What does this mean? Let me make this clear with the help of Excel's example. Considering this Excel as a RAM, and when we create any object, suppose we have two data members in a class. Let me start this also. Class stat to learn this. What do we normally do? We initialize variables, data members these are. Then we do something like void sum. Then we do what? It's equal to SA plus B. A small simple function. Okay. This sum. Here these are data members and this is a member function. Now if in a main function, when you write although most of you know this already, but still, then how do we create an object? Stat ob1 equals new stat, or let us make a what parameterized constructor to ease your task. Stat. Considering you all know these things properly, so I'll not explain these things very much. And b is equal to 1. Fine. So now what do we do? Now we don't call it like this, void sum, and this much. Let us save it. And let us compile it also. And first, I think I'm in a hurry. So when we'll compile this, कोई problem नहीं. It's okay. Now run it. Yes, 7, as expected. This is a very simple object-oriented, very simple program where we are using what? We are using a parameterized constructor. We are using a very simple function which is adding. Here we are, while creating an object, we just give the parameter and this is how it's working. Now let us see in detail what is happening. So this is a class, of course, and when we created object 1, when we created what? Object 1, then this happens. Object 1A, object 1B are separate copies created of A and B. The same way, if we'll do what? If we'll simply copy this code and do it here and write it object 2, and this time just change the parameter and again do something, object 3, and do something here also. So what is happening inside RAM? Now since this is a parameterized constructor we are using, so The data members instance are initialized with the given values like this. Then when we created OB2, then OB2's A and OB2B is also created, and the same way OB's 3, A and OB3B is also created. And since we have initialized with the given value, so these are the values. And let us have a look also. Most of you have already understood what is going to happen, but still just see the output. What? Oh, yes, of course. What we are doing, we are calling ob1.sum. Here also we are calling ob1.sum, and that's why the same function is been called for ob1. Chalo, mistake se hi sahi, but something good happened right now. So ob1.sum means what? A separate copy of some function is also there, which only knows ob1.a and b. This object do not know this ob2's a and b. Think it as a different object. Suppose this is a different car. तो उस कार में ए और बी का वैल्यू क्या है, इसमें क्या है, ये अलग अलग मैटर है. So they are not interrelated. They are different objects. They may have different properties. They may have different values. एक कार में 2 लोग बैठे हो सकते हैं, एक कार में ज्यादा लोग बैठे हो सकते हैं, वो अलग अलग चीज है. ठीक है. So हमें क्या करना चाहिए था, हमें OB2 और यहाँ OB3 लिखना चाहिए था अगर हमें उन चीजों का सम चाहिए होता तो. क्योंकि अब OB2.sum जब हम कॉल करेंगे तो सम फंक्शन कॉल होगा, तो वो ए और बी को जोड़ेगा. बट किसका ए और बी? OB2 का ए और बी. OB2 का ए और बी देखो क्या है, यहाँ पर वही होगा. OB3.sum जब हम कॉल करेंगे तो सम फंक्शन कॉल होगा, वो ए और बी को जोड़ेगा, बट किसका? OB3 के ए एंड बी को जोड़ेगा. सो यही होता है. एंड आफ्टर मॉडिफिकेशन लेट अस सी दिस वर्किंग. Now it's okay. Now you have understood also. Now where is static now? Static comes here now. Now if you have seen this program, now we are in position to understand static. So normally a class member must be accessed only in conjunction with an object of its class. यही बोल रहा है कि जब किसी भी member को हम लोग object through ही वो access करते हैं. However, it is also possible to access only in conjunction with create a member that can be used by itself without reference of any instance or any class. To create such a member, precede its declaration with the keyword static. When a member is declared static, it can be accessed before any object of its class are created and without reference to any object. So static जब हम कोई variable बनाते हैं तो उसको किसी class किसी object से कोई मतलब नहीं होता है, वो सबके लिए common होता है, उसका एक ही copy RAM में बनता है. ठीक है. You can declare both methods as well as variables as static. Method को भी हम static बना सकते हैं. You may watch the videos that I'm making for the beginning students, Java Begin playlist. You may find these videos where I'm using static because there I've just not started object oriented. So static methods can be also made. The most common example of main method is the most common example. Instance variable declared as statics are essentially global. जिसे भी हम static बनाते हैं वो normally global variable ही रहता है. When object class is declared, no copy of a static variable is made. Object से कोई मतलब नहीं, से अलग अलग हम object बना रहे थे in the given example. So separate copies are being made in RAM, but static has one single copy. When objects of this class is declared, no copy of instance of class share the same static variable. If you want to use those variables in different functions called by different classes, then also they have same value. Now methods declared as static. What are static methods? Static methods have some restrictions. So what are those restrictions? They can only directly call other static methods. A static method can only call a static methods of their class. Directly they can call it. They can only directly access static variables of their class. Static methods, if you are making, then they simply can use static variables. They cannot refer to this or super. This will see when we'll see inheritance. So this can be refer super and this cannot be used with that. If you need to do computation in order to initialize your static variable, you can declare a static block that gets executed exactly once when a class is first loaded. Static variable, if you are initializing it, it get loaded once and it remains there. So for the sake of example, let us see what is the static int a and nb. Static method is being also created here, and static block is there. Static block is initialized and static method is method. तो ठीक है, चलो यहाँ पे देखते हैं. इसको हम लोग दूसरा एग्जांपल समझते हैं. Static any variable like abc abc, you may get confused because ab is already there. N1 I can give static N1. Let us make it 4. Okay, so do one thing, N1 plus plus here, N1 plus plus I'm doing. Okay, now what has happened, what will happen, just print the value of N also, and see what is happening when we are doing this. Let us first see this working. One change, one, see what happens here. Static N1 only have written. Oh, my mistake. Int N1, you should give the data type also. Now let us see what. बढ़िया. How many mistakes are due? N1 is the name of variable. I'm using N. Save it properly and then see it. Now it's okay. Fine, no problem. 7, value of N1 is 5. This sum function, when called by the OB1, change its value to incremented and is now working like this. And see, when it is called by OB2, then also it increased 1, it became 6 and 7. So in this way, you can see this working like this. As it has been told about static variables, that it has only one copy. Now, if you are creating this, where it is this static int N1, then what is happening? Static N1 is created, int variable. What is the value? Its value is 4. Now, as it was said earlier, that only one copy of this N1 remains there. So static N1, like for A and B, separate copies are created. For this A and B, for every single object, separate copies are created. But what difference is there? We have just added a static. Then by just adding static, this N1 is out of the bond of being copied for every single object. Now it is a single variable having single copy in RAM, and can it share the common value with all the functions and all. So let us see this in detail. When we created object, then A and B's value got 3 and 4. Then I called sum function. Gotta get it to the sum function. N1 plus plus is written. What is the value of N1 in the beginning? It's 4. Now after plus plus, it became 5. And therefore, after returning the sum of 3 and 4, it returned the value of N1, 5, with the help of this statement. Now after this, new object is created, object 2. So see what is the value of object 2, 53 and 74. Okay, created. Now again we are calling the sum function. Sum function we have called again. Then what is happening? Again N1 plus plus encountered. So what will happen again? It became now 6. 1 is added to that. And then what? The 6 is printed. And the same thing happened with the object 3. It also increased its value. And so its value is now 7. So you can see that The static variable remains there and has the same copy, and you can use those variables in normal functions as we are using, but it has the, I mean, same meaning, same value. So this is how it works. This is the static variable. We'll see more about static functions also, but static variables are these. So thank you, dear students, for this for today, and we'll see something more in our next class. Thank you.